So they're just going to be having to save those flashes to sort of peak angles with them, I guess, and avoid walking into Alpha's crosshair.
Oh, they've just gone back to the classic. You can't get mad at Xiao back on server as well. And speaking of, I think the linchpin to this is Crashies. The way the Crashies play on Ascent is so impossible to deal with, and I think that's probably what other teams have really struggled with.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think Crashies was a little quiet for me that previous map, but it wasn't until they started ramping some rounds up at the end that we really got to see the impact from him and Alpha's utility combined in some rounds, which was really nice. So yeah, I think for Crashies, we need to see him step up into this one, which, as we do know, he is good on Ascent. He's great on this Sova, one of his most played agents in his career, so we expect him to shine.
Yeah, I definitely think as well, coming into this map off the back of that unfortunate Angel flash and him coming back into that KO, I think he's going to be determined not to make the same mistakes again. So I do think this is a really convincing attack composition for Na'Vi, as long as they're using their utility to sort of support that. Again, I look to that hero as well to find those lurks through on attack. We know how incredible he is as a Sentinel player, and I think him finding value on potentially some of those mid plays and making sure that he's anchoring those sites and doing everything a Sentinel should do and more. You know, we look to Hero a lot in sometimes when Na'Vi are down to kind of pick them back up, I guess, and pop on a star-studded performance as Hero. We know he can do.
I'm glad you pointed out Hero, because of course we saw him on that Viper the previous map, and it's true what you're saying. The Cypher, you know, he can shine on this role. I think as well, before this game started, we kind of didn't get to touch on Ruxic and Hero. I did kind of mention them towards the end, that these are the players that can kind of bring Na'Vi up in those moments, and Ruxic was having a great performance on Bind, so hopefully he can continue that onto Ascent.
Yeah, the fact that Angels played more Reyna on this map than KO is very unsurprising, but his debut on KO here on Ascent. Hazard and Karo, let's hope for a redemption arc.
That's what we're exactly here to see. Everyone will want to see a decider. Perhaps the majority of the crowd would attest to that. However, I have to say, looking at Na'Vi's recent vetoes, they floated Ascent into the final wave of map bans for the last 2 weeks against both Apex and Liquid. It's been left in here. Fnatic have been given the option to choose into it. It's one which they've taken quite happily.
Yeah, they have, and obviously we look towards what is... Look at in terms of the agent select as well, obviously Na'Vi moving away from that double Senti and how they like to play the map through that. But obviously Fnatic still sticking with it as well.
And Alexic on the jet, empowering his own performance, which looked a lot better than last week on Bind. Got off to a great start on a number of rounds, but we need to see that continued traction heading forwards if Na'Vi are to succeed the same way. He doesn't have to necessarily find that first pick himself, as long as it's either one of him and Angel. They had a great partnership trading off of one another on Bind, but it is Ascent now. And with it being so fundamentally demanding, a real stress test of your team, your communication, those fundamentals, Fnatic are the most difficult of foes to face.
Yeah, they are arguably one of the best fundamental teams on what is the most fundamentally demanding map in all of the map pool at the moment. And we're going to have it right here, right now for map number 2. Fnatic could close out the series right here. Or Navi could send us to map 3.
So into Ascent we go. Fnatic starting out on the defense with a double Senti twist of their own. Alpha and Kron towards the A side of the map right now, as is the spike for Na'Vi. But proceedings begin with the drone in main and Kayak playing in front of it.
Yeah, being aggressive, taking that entry pick, and now Na'Vi being quick to now move on the A site where that Vice setup is.
It's not only is it Angel dead first, it's both of their initiators elsewhere, so getting in past this Vice util is a torrid task. Fnatic finding a couple, Alexic dashed the wall, finally Na'Vi are in with their feet planted and the spike as well.
Yeah, and look at the utility set up already by the Cypher of Hero. Fnatic need to be careful when moving back in, but 2 players to the good. All they need to do is trade out to a finish.
If Ruxic decides to fight towards heaven, he is going to get a 1 versus 1, but the dart has revealed Hero's position, and as much as his trap will do the same, you're asking too much of the frenzy push to the corner here. Fnatic with their first pistol round in this series on Ascent after dropping both on Bind.
Yeah, I mean, excellently played, but I felt as if rather than Fnatic playing really well, it was more NAVI getting caught off guard. Look at some of these engagements, especially the execute, the initial execute on A.
Sit down!
Yeah, you
Angel
want a
is
pistol?
sat.
Yeah, yeah, pistol, Austin.
Thank you very much, Scott. Yeah, I agree. I think the difference is when Angel's going down on KO now, you're losing a lot of valuable utility.
Yes.
We know about Angel and him going walkies, left off of the leash.
Yeah, but he's been very good this year at
He
not
has.
doing that.
Remember Jack Igo was giving away bundles for every like 5 first deaths or something that he
Yeah,
had?
I mean he was giving away a lot this
He
year.
was. I heard that he might also have Riot buddies if you DM him on Twitter, jokes aside. There's quite a few pistols in this Fnatic anti-eco. And for NAVI, they've already found their first duel.
Oh, okay. They found their next floor, and it's a win for Fnatic's way. Yeah, that's the best way it possibly could have gone. And not only that, it's the fact that 3 rifles go through to the next. Possibility of upgrading, which will be a dangerous challenge for NAVI.
Yep, Navi to kick off Bind, of course. One, the pistol, anti-eco, and the bonus. Fnatic looking to try and do some of the same here. Have brought up 2 stingers, in fact.
Yeah, usually you see a buy like the round previous and you think, oh, it's just going to be a rifle. Upgrades. Instead, no, stingers instead. And Pizza is fully loaded at the minute.
Both players with TPs getting suppressed, so no way out.
This is becoming a real issue as NAVI continue their assault through and towards market. But Fnatic can't buy themselves out of this round. NAVI answer straight back.
It'll be interesting to see as well what Fnatic choose to do in terms of their setups and where they're placing that trademark and vice wall. There's a mental game to be had with the ground that Na'Vi will look to take, and in that round, it is just a collapse into mid. This is the first rifle that we see between the teams, and in terms of the placement, it is again on either main of the map, and Fnatic actually move away from the mid engagement. Saying that, 2 players short.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Kayak's ready to walk right out, although punished for it. Angel getting lucky with a educated guess through the smoke. Look at Crashies now taking up position in market.
The flash from Chronicle, not sure if it quite sets up the market player here or not. But as you can see, Boaster has also moved into position from spawn.
And Rooksik still has that paranoia, which is going to be very key for clearing market.
And all of the Sentinel utility is up, so Fnatic can remain resolute in positioning, but there is the flash. It's Kron that's going to nip it in the bud first, and with the spike lost, both sides on either side of this smoke.
Yeah, Na'Vi managing to break down. What was the crossfire? Alpha chasing them down, and Hero left in a 1 versus 1, which you know you could depend upon him.
It gets incredibly scrappy. Kron did have the supportive util there. Fnatic's setup had a spanner thrown into the works when you looked at how Na'Vi wanted to close the gap. This was a nice start from Angel. He's been good for it up until this point. Alpha also taking a timing, but as I said, very, very scrappy. But Na'Vi won't care. That's a tied game, and the economy at their advantage.
It's a nice spot.
Outlaw being bought out for Rooksik. He loves these scoped weapons, and obviously a very good weapon for the anti-eco, and keeping away from the stingers that Fnatic want Na'Vi to be in the close quarters.
Yeah, Fnatic on Ascent is not something that we had seen all too much, especially between these teams specifically, but you'll be interested to know, another little nugget from the Spike Drop podcast, that Boaster had actually taken this comp from the DAC League.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know what team you thought that might have been.
I would imagine someone like a Focus.
No, Team Orange Gaming, because it's the only map that they were able to win. So it'd been adapted to VCT, and has worked very well for them. Here is the short trademark. As Navi haven't really been running into this utility all too much up until this point. Now they have.
Yeah. And the thing that Navi need to be careful of is look at Alpha here, hiding in the corner up on Heaven. Fnatic make the play in towards the site, but, well, Alexic has been undefeatable, it seems, in these first engagements.
Yeah. A much needed improvement from him. And the Jet pick is only going to compound that. An agent which you see him on a lot. With a rifle in his hands, most importantly. Navi opting for an op a lot of the time before. But sometimes just being a little bit more mobile is exactly what is needed. Chronicle gets the jump with his drive-by on the Stinger. But Navi have their round and the lead in this map.
These early rifle rooms are a good look overall for Navi, being able to create big leads, right, or start to gain momentum at the very least.
And we know they have the potential to take on any team really in these rifle rounds. We saw how the stat had been skewed in the opening couple of weeks from 80% all the way down to 40. But here's another.
I mean, well, those ultimates, well, 3 of which are online for Navi, realistically, there's nothing that you would really say are immediate uses, whereas on the other side, Fnatic have some really key retake ultimates.
That's why you're probably looking at Angel picking up the orb here in main and getting the null command online, because that's going to shut off everything from Chronicle.
And realistically, you want to use that ultimate in post.
Might even be able to catch the TP, but no, Kayak has arrived on the scene, and Navi, it's a stunted start.
Yeah, and at the same time, Navi have made the quick pivot on towards B. Hero was gaining a lot of space through main, and they're still to identify, hey, is this B site open as Ruxic is still stuck in Boathouse?
But has got the plant in now, and Fnatic still not yet taking up the option to flood. They've been stopped at the gates by Hero.
Yeah, and Navi very late to this, but I mean, at the same time, Fnatic are slow on their uptake on the retake.
It's like both teams are playing from the barriers yet again. As Kayak played in by the util, forced to respect the dart on the other side, but none shown to his Elder as Angel is removed from the server very quickly. 4 on 3, Fnatic now favoured, but time playing against them on the defense of all things. Smoke placed in their face with Shao removed from main. Things start to get a little better, but Ruxic still yet to be claimed. Time is low, there's not much of it. I don't know that Crashies has this one. It's going to go all the way down to the wire, and it's Navi that come out on top.
A massive round for Navi to get over the line, considering what was invested from Fnatic. Hunter's Fury, Steel Guardian from Chronicle. And Navi come out the better of the two.
And even there, the first kill, a full blind Chron still able to find the entry on Alexic. You thought they'd struggle to make the pivot, and even when they get to the B site, there's no player left to tell the tale. Fnatic now down onto a mixed buy.
Yeah, there's a couple of hero rifles in the mix, and this tour de force is going to be the big thing that can push Fnatic over the line.
Exactly. Navi have already identified it though. Alpha can TP to support the B play.
I mean, there's going to be no tour de force anymore.
Great use of the null command to just bustle their way into B, and Alexic moving through Fnatic at pace. Slicing them in half. Alpha gets one from the classic of all guns, and Chron back with 2. All of a sudden, there's a round to be had.
Yeah, and both players have rifles.
Oh, Ruxic's been spotted on the edge of the smoke. Not like this again. Omen v Omen. He's given up the site, but Boaster can cover the spike and work on the defuse.
Oh, he's just going to stick this.
Across the halfway point
No
already.
way.
Ruxic holding his nerve, jumping in! And Boaster comes off it. Couldn't hold his nerve. Ruxic calls the bluff and will best him yet again.
I wonder, when does the coaching staff of Fnatic go for the timeout? And well, very quickly we'll get our answer as soon as we come out of the replays. Yeah, entirely close. I thought for a minute Ruxic was maybe leaving this a little too late, but somehow he comes away with a spray down.
And look, NAVI now with 5 rounds unanswered are showing a lot of the same confidence that they were on the attack side on Bind. When you consider the defensive setup for Fnatic, we've already spoken about it a little bit, but now that there is a timeout in play, you start to wonder what the adaptation looks like. They've floated the idea of Kayak getting a bit more aggressive on these extremities, taking the B main space, for example. But NAVI are still finding their way into sight a little bit too easy for my liking.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think as well, the one thing that you need to remember about that last round was it was a Fnatic eco.
True.
At the end of the day. I'm sure you used the Tour de Force, but what's a better time than like using it on an eco round? And Dimensional Drift as well. So overall, it's not really a bad look for the defensive Fnatic. They just need to finally start closing out some of these retakes that they keep getting themselves into.
Well, it's EMEA's El Clasico for a reason. 243 years of age. There's Boaster, one of the senior members on the Fnatic squad, is forced to drop back to short as NAVI are ready to make a move on A, and he gets caught by Ruxic.
Yeah, well, at the same time though, NAVI activate the wall, distracting Fnatic.
Still
and look
going.
at the space, he's got another!
And there's a player revealed on site. Ruxic trying to close the net. Chronicle to fight the good fight, and he certainly can. 2 more. Still might not be enough.
Yeah, and continued delay here.
Spike planted.
As NAVI look to reinforce that site. Door dropped. There's a trap on the other side, and Fnatic will feel that they have to come out of heaven.
Alpha was just searching for it. Crashies looking to set up a reveal perhaps for Alpha to find a shot. Suppression might just have caught him there, and Angel has finished things.
Yeah, it's probably looking at another save, yet trying to get the op back, which Crashies will do. And NAVI confirms 6. I mean, the momentum at the moment is something that NAVI seems to be very good at identifying, but the hunt from Hero denies any sort of capability in the next round.
Yeah, to be going on the offensive as well, especially. Look at the way that Ruxic just puffs his chest out and blindly runs through Garden. Finding 2 kills, and Hero, this is the cherry on top. Fnatic have next to nothing to work with here, but we've already seen how the game can flip.
It's most interesting that after a timeout we haven't seen Fnatic get the value that they usually do. Althea has approach from short this time round. Crashies being in a much more forward line than what he usually is through market.
And the knife timings from Angel up until this point have been perfect. There's both Sentinels caught there, and Ruxic punishing the extension from Alpha, yeah.
NAVI just waiting for Fnatic to move into their crosshairs. And you've got to be looking at that B main space that the defense currently hold on to at the minute. NAVI finally start to make inroads in map control. It seems like they want to go through A shot, but that flash didn't hit. And Fnatic didn't get the information they were looking for.
Kayak has also dropped the TP out of B, so can start to move away from things here if necessary. Essentially though, Chronicle is all by himself, resting on his laurels. Will have the wall to slow this push. And time is dwindling if you're NAVI.
Yeah, they need to start to make a decision. Angel needs to be careful as he's all the way up market, and 2, maybe even 3 players close by as he walks into the crossfire. Crashies will be able to get rid of them. Oh, but 20 seconds left. The rest of the pack for the attack is making its way through. Alexic needs to hit. He will do it. And now Boaster trying to deny the spike getting over. He just can't quite. It's all chip damage in the end.
And there's nothing to stop NAVI from running their way through the middle of the map, the belly of the beast, and onto B. Alexic spots Kron. The knives won't land. But this is now 7 rounds secured.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the decision making. I'll be completely honest.
That's true.
But it's not about how you win the round. It's if you win the round.
Yes.
And Navi are going to get 7.
Angel, the OG shaky aim. Forget Asuna. Onk still got it. An important kill that he picks out, and yeah, they just need to be aware of Crashies in that market position because he's found himself here a couple of times. Nice outlaw usage to stop Alpha from really getting online here, as this was one of his best maps in Toronto when we're speaking of that uptick, that trend of form from him, with the slight slump at the start of stage 1, now looking like he's back in prime time with the op in this next rifle round.
Trigger. Here.
Navi managing to once again take that B main, and it seems as if Boaster wanted to get caught by the knife there. Give information that he's towards the A side.
Oh,
So,
he's broke the cam.
by accident as well.
Well, there is no cam. Of course he's not broken it. I'm confused, man. I'm fried. I've seen too much Sova utility this week to survive a lifetime.
Kayak though, forward line.
Portal closed.
Trying to play a little off angle. Navi want him to walk into their position.
He has no TP either, but you're just waiting for that util. Cleared out, perfectly timed from Kayak. And from Feast or Famine, finally he feeds. Twice the numbers for Fnatic and a wall in the face of Navi.
Sold out. Kron looks to finish it out. That'll be Fnatic's 3rd round, finally, after what was a fairly dominant run of rounds from Navi.
I'm hoping Alpha's not been reading the signs. But in terms of the rounds, it's looking a lot better for Fnatic. Nice. Reasons to be happy. Well played from Kron, as he has been the face of the resistance here. Taking a look at the Vice lineup. Very nice. He's going to be able to stall out the A player a little bit more, and that's what you want. You want Kayak playing in front of the Sentinel utility, finding picks, dipping off, and having a second layer to drop back to.
Look at this time, well, Fnatic, they're so lax when it comes to the mid control. Alpha pushed to the corner. Navi tried to clear him out, successful in doing so. And, well, Kayak has control of A main. As Navi can try to push towards heaven. Is it to be advised? Certainly not! As Fnatic deal with any push coming their way. Spike on the ground, and a round to be recollected, retried, I don't know. Navi left scratching their head as everything's gone wrong, and Kayak wants to make sure he knows exactly where the last remaining player is.
We're not going to see a hero 1v3 this time. Fnatic won't make those kinds of mistakes.
Last round before
It was a very nicely set up round. And a deep lying hold, which has brought the black and orange back into voice. Into the final round of the half, Angel is with the null command, but without premium weaponry. This is where we see the adaptation now. It is both bits of Sentinel utility placed in short. Navi will have to clear out each and every one of them if they want to force this lane.
Yeah, we've seen this before from Fnatic. Trying to re-clear out B main at the same time while giving Navi this A main space so they can get on to a deep line and get Crashes his ultimate. That is going to be the null commando. Alpha still wanting another go at it, and this time successful.
Alexic though flooding through the smoke. Alpha and Heaven, a match made in heaven, quite literally, as he's already found 2. Plant now coming in, Fnatic setting up the retake, Steel Guard and Hunter's Fury both available.
Still though, that spike not being committed just yet, and you know that Fnatic are waiting for that notification to hit the go button. Kayak though denies Ruxic his life.
The ult's now coming back in, landing on Angel, his life removed, and Hero sussed out of the situation. No spike, no hope. Angel was looking for the knife timing to stop the retake, but placed it a little early. Fnatic a few steps ahead. They'll sit behind in the round count as we cross the halfway mark, but NAVI have done an excellent job up until now.
Yeah, it's deja vu from Bind with the way that NAVI were able to get an early lead, but Fnatic coming back. We'll see if NAVI this time can make good of it and get it over the line, but just after a short break. I mean, IGLs have been probably the biggest impact in the server so far in terms of making these comebacks happen. And well, here's your man on the screen, Boaster, and how well, just his history in the game so far.
It speaks for itself. Almost every global event attended. The only missing, Berlin 21, and then Bangkok and Madrid. 2 of those kickoff qualified events. It's always been a conversation, Fnatic at the start of the year. I think coming in to 2024 after 23, there was the conversation about sandbagging, what they're showing, what they're not. In stage 2 here, they've already shown 5 out of the 7 maps. Sort of still waiting to see that corrode, but for now it's Ascent, the tried and true. Alexic and Pistols had been a potent blend up until this point. Nothing going for now.
Angel needs to be careful, put under pressure. Ruxic traded out quite evenly at the minute. I don't know if that Omen will probably be a big loss for NAVI if they do try and attempt a retake, but Angel reinvestigating. The Ghost not really hitting, finally it does, and it will take out Alpha.
Very committed position from him, especially with Boaster closing things up from main. Fnatic looking to make it back-to-back pistols, but it's a 3-on-3 situation. Na'Vi fully retaking from short.
That is, the Arcrow's not going off, but Chronicles Ghost is. 2 versus 2, and Boaster and Kron have a crossfire which they can work with. Boaster was wondering about a retake coming, or a plate flank. Instead, no, it doesn't work out. Kron's Ghost certainly has been down to a 1 versus 1. Xiao solo, we take 1 bullet from the captain, from the IGL, and he's dancing around with them.
Brilliant.
It's unbelievable, and he's got the round as needed. A big clutch from Boaster.
We talked about him at the top of the half, and that's exactly why. The contributions don't always come through the calls, but the clutching ability is something that he has diligently spent a lot of time on. This one, just the smoke to flood out around the corner.
Well played, Jake. Well played.
The tamest of hand taps from Scott that you might see. But it has closed the gap all the way up.
Well, once again, 3 rifles in the mix for Fnatic. Alpha with his Marshall. I mean, look at the amount of bodies outside mid at the moment.
We've got here Angel breaking the door just in case the A play is made so that Short can fight him from wherever.
Ooh.
About to go off with a bang, and it's Fnatic. Fireworks, un-in-zone flawless.
Hey, what better way to keep it going, right? And if you really want to, if you have the cash in the back pocket, Bolster can maybe force up a rifle. That's exactly going to be the case. Fnatic's bonus round is essentially a 5 versus 5 rifle. And Navi need to be careful with how they navigate this one.
It looks like they are opting for a slightly heavier mid setup in terms of what we get at the barrier. With Short and Market side.
And as well as that, the traps that we are getting from Hero, both basically towards Short.
It's a full trap play in Market, in fact. Angel only started from Short so he could throw the knife towards tiles. We do have the Cypher util on A, like I said, and they might just got to manage to get this read correct.
Yeah, it seems to be the case.
So the question is, who's taking contact here? You'd think it would be Angel.
You would think that, but it's not going to be the case. The paranoia goes out. At least Rooksik's able to win that initial duel.
Oh!
But Angel's fully blind, and Bosta winning out.
What was that?
Same time, look at Kron scaling through B main.
He will bide his time, not overplaying his hand. This is a huge swing round for Fnatic to take. It would be yet another bonus.
Discipline and the patience from Fnatic is exemplary. The way they're able to cut noise, make their opponents sweat, and Navi have next to no information at the end of the day. Hero trying to take the next engagement, and it's just Boaster here.
Happy to take that late positioning. Not yet scaling into spawn. In fact, he'll TP back and force Hero to clear this, but Alpha lazily walking into the line means that Shao punishes 10 seconds.
Yeah, Alexic now trying to hold on to backside so we can deny the spike plan if it's to be attempted. But in the smoke does so. I don't think there's enough time here.
There isn't. Oh, what? Wait, no, okay. Boaster didn't have it. Should have trusted my gut. A little delayed, but Alexic has done the work necessary and laid the foundation for Na'Vi back into this. The second time they deny a Fnatic bonus in this map.
It's a big one. Advantage regained by Na'Vi coming out of that. Damage done in the economy. Still stay in that swing round.
This is like a 10th of a second, isn't it? As Alpha brings out the Outlaw here, Angel the only target who could find himself in trouble, but how many times have we found ourselves saying that?
Same opening from Fnatic every single time. I think the audible would have been helped by the TP.
And it's Rooksik's judge in Short.
Yeah, they're moving straight into it, and the drone's going through Market instead. At least there's a TP out for Alpha.
Mid-engagement's been so heavy-handed, but Alexic finds Crashies, and with the spike down in the middle of nowhere,
this is getting muddy.
Fnatic have so much to do to take this back. Na'Vi need to show some discipline from this position.
Alpha has got the spike back, but not collected it just yet. Waiting to see if he can truly do it.
Teleport's ready.
Heroes also just placed a deep trap in B main. Already has one covering Market.
Does Alpha think he's got the spike?
I don't think so.
He's walked away from it anyway.
30 seconds
Fnatic
left.
here, looking like they will just be opting to run the time all the way down and call for a save because Na'Vi's strength on the site's still in play. Sentinel utility still up. With 9 now confirmed, you kind of need those rifles if you're Fnatic heading into the next couple. Should be just about enough money beneath them to force back into the next. But in terms of what Na'Vi did well, it was a big 1 versus 1 in A main between the IGLs, which was just caught off camera.
Yeah, I agree, but I think as well, and not to be the guy that says it, but like Fnatic feeling like the makers of their own demise there. I mean, this round and the last, just walking in, giving free engagements to NAVI, just not considering what could potentially go wrong. I mean, it's been a same opening every single time. 3 players walking from top mid through down all the way to even market. This time the approach has been changed. It will be B main that the players walk through. The hit squad of Alpha and Kayak. That wasn't Kayak, it's Kron, sorry.
And you can see that Fnatic are playing almost exclusively through the 2 hero rifles here. They help themselves to from the previous. Alexic does spot Kayak, but that's all. Perhaps a slight tell as Na'Vi begin to reinvestigate mid, the dart shot out in B main. The defense creeping ever closer.
Seemed to be the case, but after Na'Vi having a glimpse, they've seen enough and back off.
Thinking about Fnatic's own reaction on the map and the ground that they feel they have to take. Not anything too indicative shown just yet, as B is fortified with 2, almost 3 players and all the Sentinel utility. A last-ditch attempt from Fnatic, the type of Valorant we've come to know from them in recent times. This to stop 10.
Still those delay. Still Fnatic stuck outside in main. Yeah, Kayak gets the entry, but Alexic, I mean, ready to come in through CT with the blade.
What?
He's not hit the player in front of him. It's worked out though. And Hero, well, he's trying to spam crashes. It's just not worked out. That will be double digits.
Fnatic not coming in with all of the tools, but the ones which they did hold on to didn't feel like the plan was executed in the way that they wanted to. Pressure not created. It was a shot from the hip from Alexic. And then the first of his blades finds a target straight through smoke. Now sitting at the top of the score sheets with 17 kills and an op in his hands. Back to the drawing board for Fnatic, and you can kind of see why.
Yeah, after the last time out that Fnatic took though, it was a couple of rounds before everything started to click for them on defense. Needs to be an immediate value gotten from this, because you don't want to allow NAVI to get towards 12.
NAVI, of course, with only 1 win in Stage 2 so far against Apex. At the very foot of the pecking order. Fnatic know what it's like to spend their time at the top. It's been so consistent for them to take titles stage after stage in the partnership era, but for NAVI, we've just not seen it. A fall from grace, but every now and then, they give you that result, which fuels the hope that there is still something left with this team.
Yes, this should do.
That's an insane stat, by the way. 82 and 75 to Boaster. And head-to-head engagements.
This, the biggest round of the map so far.
Who's next?
This is an aggressive play, though, and Kron is looking for the lineup instead.
And the timing is key as well. Boaster mid-TP, flashed out behind them, sprays for 1 but can't transfer to take 2. Kayak in the back lines, able to restore order somewhat and open up the A play with Crashy supporting. And Alpha from top middle. Fnatic have done all that was required up until this point, but it's a familiar face that could still find yet another of the miracles we've come to expect from him.
Cage in the back pocket, that's a way to get onto site, but it's whether Fnatic gives him the 1 versus 1s, gives him the engagements that we know he can win.
Crashy's playing late from short with the ult if needed.
Cage triggered.
Kayak, the contact, the cage is opened. Hero on top of Gen, drops down. He's been hurt. Time pressure becoming a factor as Crashies has repositioned with the dart. There's just so much to try and claw back at in this war of attrition. Rigged against Hero. Alpha Air has his, as do Fnatic. It was a blistering start to the round.
It is, and I think the most important duel throughout all of this is when they try to re-clear Angel's KO. He has control of the spike.
And it's almost like Boaster was waiting for that play to be made with the TP.
Nice Alpha, good shit.
Go.
Was that good what?
Good shit indeed. It's 8 rounds now. And just the 2 between the teams as Alpha brings out the attack side op. A big exchange about to go down in middle.
Electric wants to take that forward line. He's getting shot at and unfortunately not collected. Even able to escape. Look at this, Kayak, hello? How far ahead is he?
What? And how much further does he want to take it?
It seems like he's going to be re-cleared by the drone.
Position
That's
ping.
a good spot.
Alpha placing the trademark in short, but
This
beneath
angle.
the feet of Electric. He can catch the cross if a player goes arch. And oh, it's Kayak walking back. Only hits him for half and has no dash.
Yeah. Trying to walk out. Angel, though, actually gets the player behind Boaster. And the engagement's through mid. Go Fnatic's way. So there's a chance, or not a chance, a decision. Do we just hit straight in towards B? Shao ready to support Rooksik. Is that both teams use their intel darts, but Fnatic still taking their time trying to get out.
Rooksik looks to try and command the space. Shao has to fill in behind. Alpha finding his first. They're in the close corner as the Shao commits to the spam. It's a 1v1.
Needs to reload.
Wonder Kid versus Wonder Kid. Spike tapped, Alpha in position! And with the second shot, he snaps!
A Red Bull clutch to bring us within one of these 2 teams.
Fnatic Starboy versus the young gun who was brought in at the end of last year.
That's my
Not keeping his place on the roster. NAVI doing so much to secure his signature, but there's only one winner. And in such a big duel, it sets us up and Fnatic quite nicely for the end game.
It's not just that. Thinking about the potential of map 3 as well. If we got it, what a banger that would be. I mean, the fact that since Navi's introduced their new comp, they've yet to lose it as well. Fnatic have always historically been good on it. It's whether they can get there. Navi, I mean, with both teams having 4 ultimates, it's the buy that Navi don't have to back this up.
And these kinds of chances which you are made to rue the mistake of not converting from those advantages, allowing
It goes here.
the players on Fnatic to make the plays which keep the elite at the top. They'd love to force it to Icebox, and with a 1-1 score in the group, you start to wonder where do the wins come from
Stay safe.
to find that playoff spot as Fnatic looking for their place in Paris.
I mean, at the end of the day, Navi will have faced Team Liquid and Fnatic now. So the games would get easier, but you've got a chance here to make some of the best bleed.
Rooksik?
Hello?
Where is he? Where's he gone off to? It's the B site now.
Take flight.
Fnatic starting the round a little slower, looking to try and find that opening fight. Boaster was boosted up with the TP back of A. Between him and Angel, we've seen that old flame reignite multiple times already this series, and it may come to blows yet again, but not before Alpha has his mark on the round.
Some shot.
Here's the duel between the 2 of them, but Boaster that much quicker.
Again, no Rooksik. He's just swung straight into mid and not checked his corners correctly. Alpha continues his reign through mid as well. It seems Fnatic continue the reign to get this spike down.
done such a good job so far at
30
containing
seconds left.
Navi's game plan.
They just dropped the spike on site. They don't even want to plant it. They're like, well, listen, we can get anybody an orb if it's really needed. In fact, actually, sorry.
Spike planted.
Yeah, it's Kayak to go and get an orb in
Spike
A main,
planted.
as well as get the spike plant, maximise the orb potential. And then they can also go hunting for hero if they really want to.
Flawless.
And they will. Alfier puts a ribbon on it. In-zone flawless Fnatic. A tied game at 10-all. And he was on the edge of his own smoke trying to hide from the reveal. Nice attempt at the micro play, just very difficult to figure out what the hell was going on when it happened.
Yeah, 100%.
The point I'm getting to is huge ult cycle here,
Yeah.
and only 4 rounds left for either team to try and win this. Biggest round of the game.
And Alexic's operator has looked good. That's the big thing. He's on an early line in B main, and Fnatic haven't interacted with that just yet.
Just waiting to see if Boaster was going to drop out the smoke there, but he'll retain the elevated position, and it's a stalemate between him and Ruxic.
Alexic out from logs. He was going to try and take the next engagement, but waits for it to come to him instead. And that's the entry pick found.
A big loss as well. Chronicle Steel Garden looked to be set up for the B site execute. Crashy's still holding on to the Hunter's Fury, of course, but in the meantime, you've got to think about Angel. And he can counter all of this, and Ruxic spotted Boaster already, setting up the rest of his team.
He's seen the gun barrel. He's waiting for the chance, the opportunity to use this paranoia. He takes it, out he goes, but can't quite get Kayak. Lich keeps it somewhat in Fnatic's favour, but Navi
down
are sending this one back,
30
taking
seconds
the
left.
advantage with Spike down. What can Kayak really give us? Not much at all. Does Navi only really lose one? And that's Ruxic in A main.
We've seen 2 different versions of Navi so far on this map. One which is willing to play into Fnatic's hands and give them the fights they want. And the other one, in tune with the offense. Nice play on either extremity with Alexic threaded right through the middle. Huge pick to start on Chronicle. But still, in terms of that ult conversation, there's plenty to play for both sides.
Both teams not opting to use it just yet. It's Fnatic once again. Slow scale up. Both teams use the drone's handshake, but a Navi give mid to Fnatic, and it's realistically just Kayak, the one scaling up here.
Angel always happy to make the rotation over as Navi have 3 players on B, but Fnatic are heading elsewhere.
Yeah, only 2 players here.
This is nice though.
Me.
Spycam contact for the paranoia from Ruxic. They'll be able to stall out that first wave of aggression, not if Kayak TP's past it.
And does so. Beats the players, but can't win the duel. Alpha, at least finding that trade, is the ultimate fire-off from both sides.
Yeah. And that's why Angel was playing retake. The null command comes in, and Fnatic have to pause for just a moment, and there's little time left.
They need to be careful. Crashes, though, is the contingency. It's a late play towards the B side. Boaster first on it. Spike down in mid, and it's all falling apart. Alfier with 20 seconds left. That's too far out of his boathouse. And it looks to be Navi the first to find 12.
And not for the first time in this series. As we said, the track record in partnerships is that Bind and Ascent were the only maps in the current pool they've been able to take from Fnatic. Keeping it close here. But can they find that all-important 13th to send us to Icebox, an unknown territory in the grand scheme of things? Fnatic short-handed. A couple of ults tossed into the mix there, but no return.
You want to play? Let's play.
Feel the force.
And Where's Angel's gun?
Yeah. Where is Angel's
Where?
gun?
How's he managed that?
Hero could have bought him. So could have Shao actually.
Mate, Alpha's got the tour de force, not you, Angel. You just used the null command in the last.
Maybe this is the secret weapon
No,
he's been cracking.
It's the Navera. He's ready to go.
Well, it seems to be the case. Alexic is as well.
Oh.
It's he'll beat Alpha out in an up versus up duel.
And maybe that's all you need.
Seems to be
Like
the case.
a Pokemon trainer. Go, Alexic, into B main, and there's the first.
Oh, he's been good for it. Fnatic, though, need to be good on this site hit as Navi begin their re-clear through mid.
Who's next?
It seems if this execute is going to come through.
Angel throws a flash to just slow things down a little bit.
I mean, that's what he's good for, right?
Yeah, we saw the Thorns go into stairs as well to stop the flood from the defenders, so it's a bit of a stalemate. Alexic trying to fight backside blades out, gets the first, nails the shot. Oh, Alexic! Into the right click, claims the next, and it's the op to finish with a flourish. 13-10, and we will be heading to Icebox.